The following program is intended for mature audiences. The opinions expressed do not reflect those of RadioCast FM, its staff, and management, or its sponsors. Calls may be recorded for use in station promotions for future broadcast. You're listening to Breaking the Fourth Wall on RadioCast FM with your hosts Chris, Christina, and Eric.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chris Wilde of Breaking the Fourth Wall, coming to you live at Comic Collections in Feasterville. Hey, with a special time right now, let me first go ahead and get our panel back on here to let everybody know we're here. First and foremost, the lovely and talented Christina Talley.
How y'all doing?
We got Matt Cruz.
What's up, people?
You know, what really sucks is I'm used to looking on a computer screen and having a little cheat sheet of who's who. And Eric Batista right over here.
How y'all doing out there today?
You got used to it.
Up.
Hey, how y'all doing out there today?
All right, there's the first mistake. That we're live tonight, so again, I apologize right in advance for anything that goes wrong. Also, I might as well give a quick introduction as well. You guys know him from America's Pop Culture Magazine and Nonstop 90s. We also have Mr. AV himself, Dave Virgillio of RadioCast FM.
How you doing there?
All right, he's going to be joining us as well. Let's go ahead and start with the first topic of the day I wanted to talk about. Last night here in Philadelphia, we had Avenged Sevenfold, Metallica, and Volbeat performing at the Lincoln Financial Center. Sold-out crowd. Everything was really special except the fact that Avenged Sevenfold did not perform last night. Reasons of being was because their lead guitarist, Sinister Gates, had to rush back home to California due to his wife going into early labor with their first child. So, guys, you want to talk on anything you heard about the Metallica show and about Sinister Gates?
Oh, the only thing I heard was what you told me, and the thing that we commented is, well, Mother's Day is right around the corner, so now they're parents, so congratulations to them. I mean, family's most important to me, so him running home, if his fans don't like that, I'm sorry, guys. Family first.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, no, pretty much is right. I meant, your wife's in labor and you're across the East Coast. I mean, why not? Always you can redo the show. It doesn't have to be, refund people their money or whatever and come back again. Special show.
Absolutely. Christina, anything to say on that?
Just congratulations on the baby.
Well, I will say to the Philadelphia fans that may have been disappointed that Avenged Sevenfold wasn't on the show. Back a couple years ago when I lived in Denver, Colorado, Avenged Sevenfold, Disturbed, Lacuna Coil, Atreyu, bands like that were a part of the Ozfest tour, and it was during a year that Ozzy really couldn't go out and tour all that much, so they only did like 12 shows, and they skipped a lot of cities, which upset a lot of people. Well, Disturbed, Avenged, and everybody got together, and they did a tour called the F Ozfest Tour to hit all cities that Ozfest didn't hit. So I would not be surprised if Avenged Sevenfold doesn't do a makeup day just because they didn't show up with Metallica last night. So, again, like we all said, congratulations to the Gates family, Second part I wanted to touch on real quick, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yay.
It's been hitting pretty hard and getting some solid reviews. I have not, as of yet, seen it. But do you think that this movie has a chance of even stacking up to the surprise of the first movie? The fact that it was a lesser-known property. Nobody really expected what it was going to do. And, I mean, it blew up and became one of the top Marvel movies of the year. Do you think Guardians 2 has a chance?
Absolutely. It took a franchise that was a little lesser known, but there's been a few incarnations since it originally came to print, and this incarnation seems to have what it needs. It's like it's everybody's favorite group of miscreants that's just literally touring around the galaxy trying to do their part to save the galaxy, but it doesn't always work out. But somehow it just does. And I think that's what it's really fun about. I mean, it's got the appeal for everybody. Every individual character is developed. Every individual character has their own, corner of the map to cover.
Okay, Christina, you look like you wanted to speak. So
No.
Eric.
Well, I was able to see it twice, and I say it pretty much topped the first one. It really was more entertaining, funny, especially with Groot there being a little troublesome 2-year-old, and just not following directions as always. Just being mischieved.
Now, as a side note, I heard through the grapevine that back on Event Sevenfold. As far as Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is concerned, I have heard that they've really put more emphasis into the characters of like Yondu and Nebula, who were really Nebula wasn't even in the first one, and Yondu was kind of like a background character.
No, Nebula was in the first one.
Yeah,
Nebula was she? I couldn't remember if she was.
No, she was in the first one. She's the one that lost the hand. She had to cut off her own hand to get away from Gamora.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, she still, they were background, very secondary characters, and now they're kind of being, from what I understand, have been pushed more to the forefront. Is that a good or bad thing in a sense?
Well, Yondu is one of the few characters that's actually been in every incarnation of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So him being allowed to be in the forefront, yeah, go with it. Nebula kind of came in the second generation, if you will, but Yondu being back in the main cast, definitely.
All right.
Big points.
Christina?
I think it personally is a good thing. I like Nebula's character. I think it's got a lot of potential. And Yondu, Yondu's awesome. Let's just be honest. And he should have had more screen time in the first one than even he did. So I'm all for it.
Well, especially when you have an actor like Michael Rourke playing the character.
Michael Rourke, yeah.
Yeah, Michael Rourke. Eric, you're the only one on the panel that's actually seen the movie. Was it a good thing to push them more to the forefront, or do you think they should have remained secondary characters?
No, it was very good that they brought them more to the forefront of the films, because you've seen a lot more of them in this one.
Okay.
Compared to Guardians of the Galaxy. I meant Hondo, I think is his name. Yondu.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, his character in this one was just very good. I mean, I couldn't top it. I mean, really, he was just awesome to me. Really brought a lot of things about parents in this one,
Right.
Because towards the end, I don't want to leak out the secret if you haven't seen it, but
yeah, I think it's still under embargo of no spoilers. So yeah, we can't go too much into it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we're on comic book movies, well, before we move on, I know we have a couple people standing here. Anybody would like to come up and share an opinion of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 before we move on? Okay. Seeing it tonight? All right. Well, Thursday nights we're always on RadioCast FM. Make sure you call in and let us know what you think of it. I'll let Dave give the number.
Why has it got to be me? You don't know the number?
I don't know the number.
856-809-6924.
There you go.
And you forgot to say we're live here at Comic Collection.
Oh, yes, we are live here at Comic Collection. Did I not say that?
No, I said it. I said it before we went on, but I don't think you said it.
I think that's why I didn't say it, because you said it. Excuse me. So anyway, yes, we are live here at Comic Collections in Feasterville. Make sure you come to check us out, 83 Bustleton Pike in Feasterville. Come talk to my man Dave. He'll hook you up with all the special deals and everything else, and afterwards he'll charge the extra money to me.
So yeah, buy lots of stuff.
There you go, buy extra stuff. All right, since we're on comic book movies, let's talk about the big one that's in question that's coming out here very, very, very soon. Can Wonder Woman finally save the DC movie universe?
The long pause of silence is impressive. It's impressive.
The problem with DC movies that I've seen is their trailers are always spectacular. Like, they'll put out this trailer, and you're like, oh, my God, I have to see this movie right now. I need to see it. And then the movie comes out, and then you watch the movie, and you're like, it was, all right. So if they can hold true to the trailers and deliver for once, then yes, they could. But chances are, just going by history, then I think it's going to end up being another Batman versus Superman.
Well, that's always pretty much true about the previews. They're hype previews. It's basically to hype you up, get you drawn in to go see the movie, and if you like it, then good, you're going to enjoy the movie. But that's pretty much how I look at them. to me, I think there's half the stuff that you see on the previews is never really technically in the movie. Half the stuff usually is, some of it's not.
Rogue One.
Well, he's kind of telling the truth because you have two types. You have two types of previews that usually go out. One is like Rogue One, where everything you see in the preview you don't see in the movie, and you're sitting there going, "Where was that awesome TIE fighter shot?" Or you have the other preview where all the best parts of the movie are in that preview, so why bother even going to see the movie?
Been there, done that.
Yeah,
This is true.
So he does have a point on that.
Well, I can't wait to see it. Honestly, I think Wonder Woman's been way overdue for a movie. They've just been waiting for the right person to cast in it. I'm sorry, everyone remembers Xena, Warrior Princess, and everybody was waiting for that. But that would have been, I think that would have been too much of an obvious choice. That's why they didn't go ahead with it. I think it would have just stereotyped her too much into that position.
Well, she's busy right now with Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Oh yeah, I know that.
So
I'm just saying. But yeah, I would. Could Wonder Woman save the DC universe? Anything's possible. Because I mean, they are getting stronger with their at least their afterthought with the last Superman versus Batman movie. The Ultimate Edition was way, like everyone said, was far superior than what came out in the theater. So maybe if they can just leave it in, it'll hit just right.
Well, I think that's the major deal with DC. I think, and except for the exclusion of the like Christopher Nolan universe of Batman, DC has been doing that a lot. Where when they release to the theater and they release the home video, the movie itself was fine. It was the editing that just destroyed the movie. And then they released their Ultimate Editions and everything else where they put everything back into it, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, that would have been a lot better movie. Maybe it isn't the storytelling. Maybe it's just simply they needed to find better editors.
True that.
That I don't disagree with.
I agree.
All right. And one of the last topics I had up here is we have Alien Covenant. If I remember correctly, it just released this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Do you think Alien Covenant has the ability to erase the bad taste in everybody's mouth of Prometheus, but at the same time can truly bring the franchise back on track?
I think it's a definite possibility. I'm a huge Aliens fan. I've watched all of them over and over again. Yes, Prometheus. While I understood the story and I understood why that story had to be told, at the same time, yeah, it could have been done a lot better. I'm praying that this is the movie to bring the Aliens trilogy back on track. Considering that it's Ridley Scott directing it again, that I think there's a lot of hope that, yes, this is the movie. It's going to be like Aliens, where Aliens was the one everyone got into, everyone really got behind. Now, even as much as the first one and the second one was the really big hit for them. I think this will be the one to bring it back to that.
Well, in fairness, though, the Ridley Scott only directed the first one. The second one that really brought everybody together, that was more of an action movie, was James Cameron.
True.
So, what about you, Eric? You looking forward to seeing that xenomorph bashing his head on the cockpit? And
Definitely, I'm looking forward to it. I love Aliens. It's like probably one of my good alien movies. I would have to say it's like up there, one of my best ones I like.
Best sci-fi movies?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Oh well, I've seen the preview, so it's touching back to its roots from what I've seen so far. So it has the possibility to do it. I mean, they're not going too far off course. They're talking about Wayland Corporation. They're talking about the settlement that we all remember from Aliens in its early days. So this could bring it directly right on path. I mean, they're not even having to try too far to bring it to make it so far fetched. They're going right back to the root of it. So here's the chance.
Well, I mean, in fairness, I mean, even the flopped movies like Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection, or God forbid I speak about the unholy Alien versus Predators.
You may not.
They still reference back to the Wayland Yutani corporations and everything else. I mean, there was still a tie-in. My question is, do you think that it'll get the franchise back on track where they stop making these really crappy, campy movies and get back to the actual sci-fi horror that Alien always was?
Possibly.
I would say there's hope. However, once again, history dictates otherwise, so I can't say definitely yes or no, but at the same time, there's always hope.
I mean, a lot of people don't like Alien 3 because it was kind of dark, but it's still part of the universe, and it's still. I mean, yeah, it was really, 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 really depressing. It was because it was kind of like there was no hope here. It was like they were. You didn't know if anybody was going to make it out alive. So that's why a lot of people don't talk about the third one, but it still fits in. The new one, let's see, because it's got the same atmosphere from the previews. It's got the same director from the original. So and we've seen what he can do. We've seen what he can do. So give him a shot.
I think people got to be fair with Alien 3. I don't think the story was too terrible. I think a lot of what everybody has issue with was how the xenomorph moved and looked, because it was the first time that the alien was actually CGI instead of a guy in a costume,
Right.
or multiple guys in a costume.
Right.
And CGI was very new to the Alien franchise, kind of new to movies in general at that point. So yeah, he didn't fit all that well. But I mean, even then, you still got to give credit where it's due. If they didn't do that Alien in Alien 3, they would not have the aliens looking the way they do now. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you got to crawl before you can walk, and you got to walk before you can run. So I think people do have to give credit where it's due. That Alien 3 was not a terrible story, and you got to forgive the CGI of the xenomorph because they were learning how to do it.
Well, I mean, the major thing with the xenomorph, too, if you remember, H.R. Giger was the person who originally designed the xenomorph.
Right.
Great surreal artist. Very sexual innuendo, though, with everything he does. Anyone who's seen his artwork knows what I'm talking about.
Anybody who's seen Alien knows what you're talking about. Just look at the face hugger.
That's true, too. Or look at the back of the alien's head, of the xenomorph's head.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but the point is, it's been altered so much at this point, it just vaguely resembles the original creation. And they kind of need to get back to that to get that authenticity back, I feel.
But at the same time, there was explanations, including from, like, Alien 3. Remember, that xenomorph, part of the reason it looked and moved differently, too, as they explained it, is because the alien, when it's embryoed into a host, takes on traits of that host. And if you remember, that alien came out of a dog.
Correct.
Just like with Alien versus Predator Requiem, that alien was part predator.
Yeah.
Which was awesome, because we've been waiting for that for a long time. Let's be honest. They
That was
ruined that whole
vicious
series was crap, but we've been waiting forever for that Alien versus Predator matchup. It's something that you and I have debated, actually, years ago.
Numerous times.
Yeah, we have debated which one would actually win. Like, we've all had that debate. As, like, geeks and nerds and whatever else you want to call us, we've all had that same debate. And, which one do you think would win, Alien versus Predator? And I've always been on the alien side because the alien's a natural hunter, whereas Predator relies on technology. And it's like, something, the worst case scenario, alien face hooks a Predator. And what did they do in Alien versus Predator first one? Alien face hooks a Predator.
Well, I was always on the side of the alien. I think you're thinking about Chris Mayer was the Predator protagonist guy.
Well, he was any person I knew who could do hand puppets with a Predator face.
That's true.
Okay. Wow, that's an unusual talent.
It taught me how to. I could do it. I'll do it late. I'll do it when we're off air.
Okay.
Because it could resemble something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
It might require a third arm.
Okay. Good Lord.
All right. So that's what I had written up. Has anybody else brought anything to the table they'd like to discuss?
Well, what's going on? Okay.
Go ahead. We're still live.
Actually, yeah, because I know with Mother's Day coming around and we're here in a comic book store, I wanted to talk to more about, like, we've had a lot of female support characters as well as main characters in the comic books, both Marvel and DC Universe, as well as Image Comics. And I'm looking behind me on Harbinger Renegades. You have a plus size female who's one of their main female characters. I mean, comics have made that stride. They've always changed the face of literature. I mean, everyone's like, oh, they're kid stuff. They're not just kid stuff. They've taken stuff from many different walks of life and they've made it relevant. They've always stayed relevant if you pay attention. They're not all just, slapstick comedy and gags.
I'm still looking for a Beetle Bailey, by the way, Dave.
I have
Thank
a book
you.
at home.
There you go. No, seriously, go ahead.
All right.
You mentioned gag comics.
I know you couldn't. I know you couldn't help yourself. Like one of my one of the. I hate to bring up one of the more main points, and everybody always calls it like the end of the age of innocence with comic books. But then she's been resurrected in her own thing with Spider-Gwen, was Gwen Stacy, Peter
Right.
Parker's first main girlfriend that was from the comic books, and how Peter, that was like I said, it was the age of innocence that was lost in that one episode where she passed away in the original Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, DC and Marvel both have been making strides on bringing to the forefront more diverse characters, not just the blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white male in spandex, as a lot of people have gotten used to in the world of comic book superheroes. So there have been a lot more female, a lot more ethnically diverse characters. Do you feel that it might be a little bit of a shortcut, though, that they've been using these like multiverse or multi-Earth tactics to make them exist? Like Spider-Gwen does not exist in the same world as Peter Parker, Well,
it might be kind of a cop-out in some cases, but I think that in that sense, they're just honoring her death instead of bringing her back in some convoluted way. It's like, oh, it's an alternate universe, and this is what it could happen this way. So it kind of gives the artists and the writers a chance to be more expressive in a different direction, which keeps the continuity of the comic books we love and love to critique and love to read and love to collect, and still give us something more out of the same universe without having to cut off anything main, but making it simply just the same and as popular.
Okay. Eric, you got anything on this? I know you're just getting back into collecting comics.
Well, yeah, just starting out again, but I mean, from my days of collecting comic books, I was more like just like War Machine. I had all the Terminators, and I was more like for the war, good war heroes.
Okay.
I didn't collect too many. Just those were the basics.
Christina, being the female of the group here, how you feeling about them bringing more diversity into the Marvel and DC and all the other franchise universes? And again, I'll pose the same question I posed to Matt. Do you think it's kind of a cop-out that they're using alternate realities or alternate Earths as a way to do it rather than just coming out with more superheroes that aren't necessarily like established superheroes?
Well, yeah, of course it's a cop-out to do that. I mean, instead of developing a strong female character, such as, and we have to use Wonder Woman as an example, there's plenty of Black Widow, there's plenty of female characters out there. So instead of developing more female characters to have alternate realities where now you have like a female Thor, where you have, Spider-Gwen, things of those nature, or even, Gwenpool. Things along those nature, it is kind of a cop-out where you could just create a new character, something that women everywhere would love to see, as opposed to, oh, let's just take this male character and I'll turn a female. Boom, now we'll make some money. That's what it seems almost like.
That's kind of where I was going with it. It's like a perfect example I could think of is Thor, where they've turned Thor female in the comic book universe. Is that really a cop-out? That they're doing that, or would it just make more sense to what I don't remember in the Thor movie what that female's name was that was part of Thor's little army in Asgard?
Oh, Lady Sif.
Lady Sif. Why couldn't she have her own comic? Why couldn't she be pushed to the forefront?
Well, they did do a miniseries with her and the hero and the Asgardian 3. But and actually, the Asgardian 3 played background to her. She was the main character. And you're right. Why didn't they just push her into being more of an Avenger? Or heck, like I said, the Asgardian 3 and her. So that's a team right there, straight out of Asgard, that's doing something across the cosmos or realities or whatever, because they have that kind of technology and mysticism blend together.
Okay. Eric, what about you? Do you feel that there should be more original type characters brought to the forefront as far as like ethnicity or does it even really matter? That's the biggest question. Does it really matter what the superhero is as long as they're a comic franchise you're about? Does politics even need to be involved in comics?
No, it doesn't. There doesn't no need for politics in comic books. I believe that male characters, female characters should all get their proper due in comic books, you know what I mean? It's just like in the movies. I mean, I feel like, hey, we got Spider-Man, and and now we're just as the first female superhero that they're making in a movie. I mean, I don't know who else is female comic book characters that are like very popular to turn into a movie. There's not too many of them.
I could see a Black Widow on her own.
Oh yeah, that's true. Black Widow, that's another one.
I wouldn't be surprised with the popularity of like Gwenpool or Spider-Gwen that they couldn't give that character their own movie as well. But I mean, yeah, there's plenty of characters out there that could be. They're right now getting ready to do another TV show, Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they did release a teaser trailer for it.
Oh, also don't forget, also on Netflix, Jessica Jones. She's getting a second season now.
That is true, Jessica Jones.
And I love that. I liked about her. They didn't make her cutesy at all. They made her. She was gritty. But she was gritty not for the sake of being gritty to drawing like a different diagram, whatever. No, she was gritty because that was her character. That was her. There was a reason for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wasn't doing it for the sake of doing it. It was that's why she's so mean-spirited in some things. Makes perfect sense.
All right, well, let me pose a question to you. I know I'm going to jump off of a Marvel for a second onto DC. There was a TV show kind of like Firefly, but for DC, where it was very, very popular but kept failing and getting canceled over and over again. Now, we already had one movie with Keanu Reeves of this character, but couldn't we have a rebooted character of Constantine? And would that be successful into the movie universe?
Actually, I think if they went back to the true source material, because I like the movie with Keanu Reeves, I like that Constantine, but it wasn't John Constantine from like the comics. And actually, we talked about this like in one of our earlier broadcasts about the Justice League Dark. They brought in the magic users of DC, the ones that they can't that don't have special powers per se, but they have mystical powers, true mystical powers, not like alien tech being posed as whatever.
Right.
We all know how that goes. But that being said, yeah, I think they could bring something like that around. I mean, why not? they have the technology, they have the information, so go with it.
Speaking of reboots, and we are talking about comic books. This came to my attention, I think, yesterday. So I didn't get a chance to put it in the itinerary, but I'll pop it to you guys now. They have announced that they are working on a reboot. Unfortunately, not part 3, but a reboot of Hellboy.
Without Ron Perlman?
Without Ron Perlman, without Gamero or whatever his name is.
I don't agree with that because Ron Perlman really owned that part to a point. I can't see a Hellboy with somebody else.
Honestly, yeah, me too. It's actually that was the artist's original concept, was using Ron Perlman as the facial structure for Hellboy, so it wasn't like it was going to be out of tone. I mean, who else could you get with that, large size head and that chin? I mean, I'm sorry. Right? Let's be honest. Hellboy's chin, man. That's I mean, other than his muscles and his incredible key to hell hand,
He owned Hellboy. There's no way. I can't see them replacing him or even doing a reboot of Hellboy. You either bring him back to do a third one, or you don't do it at all.
Well, see, that's part of the reason I was going to ask the question. Well, first off, the reboot is supposed to be, surprise. It's never been done in comic book movies before. It's going to be a rated R movie. But
how soon they forget?
How soon they forget? Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about rated R comic book movies. Everybody credits Deadpool, and Deadpool did kind of give a new rise to it. But everybody seems to forget Blade, forget The Crow.
I know.
Wasn't the Watchmen R as well?
Yeah, I believe the Watchmen was R as well.
Yes, it was. Yeah, and yes, it was. And yeah, I know. Blade, a lot of people don't even attribute it to Marvel. They don't think about it anymore. They just think it's another vampire flick. No. Marvel had its vampire, its werewolf, and its Dracula comic books, and that's what it stemmed from. They had their horror comics.
Right.
And certain movies should be rated R. I'm sorry. We saw the blood and guts that they put in these pages. We knew what we were getting into. That's what drew us in. It was the graphic violence and the huge boobs. Come on, let's be honest.
Hey, just remember, I'm not the one that made the sexist comment. That would be
Matt Cruz.
Come on, take a look at the comics that we read through in those days.
Well, back in those days, they were directed towards the horny teenager hiding in their mom's basement. I know.
Yeah, it is. Hate me or love me, but it's the truth.
But the point that I was going to go to before we went into the rated R things with the Hellboy, how many fans do you think are mad because you have the original director of Hellboy 1 and 2, as well as Ron Perlman pushing for a Hellboy 3? Fans have been petitioning for a Hellboy 3, and the fact that the movie studios and all have said, well, we know you want Hellboy. We really know you want Hellboy, but the hell with you. You're getting a reboot instead of what you've been asking for. I mean, is that kind of a spit? Is that kind of like a spit in the face?
Of course it is.
More like slamming a door in somebody's face, more like.
That's like slamming a door, flipping them off, and then walking away, and then mooning them on the way out. I mean, seriously.
Put a sign on the door, don't knock again.
But enough about my exploits on a Saturday night when I'm overly drunk.
I know, right? Never to return.
Oh, I have a little bit of news as well. We do have a celebrity death to talk about.
Okay.
Michael Park had passed away 2 days ago.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Actually, I do know
People who
that.
don't know him, he was in Kill Bill Volume 1, as well as in a Kevin Smith movie, which I don't unfortunately
He was in Kill Bill
remember.
2
I think it was Tusk, wasn't it? With
Yes,
the
it
Kevin
was.
Smith movie? Okay, yeah. So he was in Tusk, and he was also in Along Came Bronson. That was when he got a start. And so he had passed away.
He was also in From Dusk Till Dawn, I think, too.
Yeah, very possible.
Yeah, he was the sheriff in the beginning.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
And he was also he was the sheriff in Kill Bill Volume 1, and he played the retired gentleman of leisure in Volume 2.
Oh, there you go. Well, he was, what, 77?
Something like that. He was, 77, born 1940.
And did they report on what he died of?
No, not the information I'll be able to pull. For next week, I should be able to have the information a little more solid. I just wanted to put it out there because something I just found about that. And also Big Black, who was Rob Dyrdek's bodyguard and
that's absolutely true, yeah.
And longtime friend and star of Robin Big, as well as I believe he showed up on Fantasy Factory, and a couple of other those MTV shows had passed away from a stroke as well.
Yeah, and he was really young. He was only like 45.
Yeah, I think he was
45.
Yeah, I think so. But still, that's also wanted to put those out there too.
Absolutely. Like I can't remember too much about the first guy, Mr. Park, because a lot of the movies you guys were naming that he was in, I didn't really watch a whole lot of. I was not a fan of Kill Bill. I did watch Dusk Till Dawn, but it's been forever since I've seen it. And as much of a Kevin Smith fan as I am, I do have to admit I have yet to see Tusk.
He was also in Red State.
I've only seen that once, and that was like edited for television. So,
well, he played the preacher, the lead preacher.
Oh, okay.
He didn't have a bit part. He had a main part in that one.
Okay.
And he was the preacher who was like kind of like the West Barrows Baptist Church type thing. And he was the leader of the church.
Okay. But as far as Big Black is concerned, what's his name? Christopher
Boykin,
something like that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was never a big fan of the shows he was on because I always looked at them as kind of like Viva La Bam ripoffs. Okay. That being said, I always enjoyed watching Big Black. He was just kind of like that laid back, I don't care kind of guy, who almost like had to be like the parental figure for Rob, So I always got a kick out of watching him, as much as I may not have enjoyed the shows that he was on. So I mean, to me, that was really like a shock, especially with how young he was.
I mean, the funny part about him is he'd be laid back, and then he'd have to go into a security guy mode, and it was just like a totally different person.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, everyone's seen that guy. Would you want to mess with him?
No, not at all.
I mean, he's huge. He was like, what, 6 foot something?
Good 300 pounds.
300, 400 pounds in that region. Yeah, he was big. He earned his name, Big Black. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, he did. Eric looks like he wants to speak, so go ahead.
Oh, well, no, I mean, I watched the show, Rob Big Black, and he was very entertaining. He was like the comedic guy on there. Because, Rob and him always picked on Rob's cousin, always on the show, and with the damn pony and some of the other animals, they always messed with him. He had to clean up the pony poop. What is that?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. What are we looking at?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Call it
Oh, the little jet up there. For those in Radiocast land, we just ADD struck, and we all just wound up looking at a jet hanging in the ceiling.
Like a I swear, you ever
It
seen-
happens. This place is amazing. Y'all need to come down here.
Yes.
I know. I can't.
We got here a little early because we come a lot further.
Right.
So honestly, I got down here and I went into a complete nerd, I don't know what you want to call them. It was an
Overload.
orgasm, for lack of better words. And I probably spent about 45 minutes staring around. And as I'm looking around, I'm still seeing stuff, which is oh my God, I just noticed the Castle Grayskull behind Chris.
I know.
The original place at. I mean, this place is amazing. Y'all need to come down here. Y'all need to spend some money. Y'all need to. And there's He-Man figures up there too. You just
got
need to
He-Man.
come down here, and they got a replica
Of
Captain America's
America's
shield, which is movie exact. I mean, seriously, come down, give this guy some love, give this guy some money, give us some love. Get down here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you really would enjoy yourself here.
I know. I already told my wife we got to come back up here. Marco Polo. I was like, you got to see this.
Well,
You got to see this.
I've said it a couple times to people when I meet up with them and they want to talk about a good place to go see comics or get collectibles. I keep telling them this is a collector's wet dream right here. Dave himself calls this place the second happiest place on earth. So, and it really is. I mean,
You ain't kidding.
I myself help keep the doors open. I don't know how much money I drop per week in his store, and I guarantee you by the time I walk out of here today, I'll probably drop another $40 at least.
I know. I wish I'd brought a little cash with me.
But we could definitely go into more about the store and Dave himself, because in the second part, after we take our break from Radiocast, I do intend to have Dave sit down with us and tell a little bit about his store and give a little interview about how long he's been around. 'Cause he's been around a good 32 plus years.
Woo!
So
That's a long time.
Yeah, for a comic book shop. Hell
Yeah.
yeah, man.
I mean, I used to go to one that was on Frankfurt Avenue. It was down by the Devon movie theater. It was like a $2 theater. Yeah, I used to go in there all the time as a kid. I mean, I must have spent over a couple $100 in there.
all right. So AV, how we doing on time there? Are we about ready for our first break?
Just about. We got 38 minutes in.
38 minutes in. All right, well, why don't we go ahead and take a quick little break for station identification, some music from Radiocast FM and some commercials. And when we come back, we'll be back with Mr. Dave Schwartz, the owner of Comic Collections here on RadiocastFM.com. Hey, what's up, guys? We're back. Thanks for hanging out with us here in Comic Collections on 83 Boston Pike in Feasterville. We're going to be having the owner, Dave, come on in a couple minutes, but real quick, let's just talk about a special guest we do have here today, Mr. In the Mix himself, DJ Zach.
Yep. There we go. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing?
Right on. Well, he's going to be joining in with us for the second half here, as we usually in this show, if you haven't listened before, which I assume most of you have, the first half we talk about the movie news and stuff of that nature, and then the second half, during the second half of the show, we usually just start going into a rant of things we normally want to talk about. But we're also going to save time to make sure to have an interview with the owner of this great establishment, as we were talking about in segment one, about the history of this place. And I also want to have him talk about this new game system that he has coming out that he has displayed over here. Not a lot is known about it, so we'll definitely get him to talk about that as well. But real quick, just to let everybody know who we are again, which, by the way, AV, we got to redo that intro.
Why's that?
Because it always says with Chris, Christina, and Eric. Poor Matt's kind of left out.
Well, I asked you in the beginning. I said, "Who's the host of the show?" And you sent me that. So
that's because at that point I didn't know Matt was joining the show.
He's here now, right, Matt?
Oh yeah.
They named the show after me, and they don't even talk to me on my show. It's okay.
Oh wow.
See,
Wow.
a little communication goes a far way. So if you let me know that, so now I know we can re-record that.
Hey, just remember, it's like Raise the Underground. Whenever I don't do anything, just call me a dick.
Well, we knew that already. So
Oh,
His first name is Richard.
He wasn't
Apparently,
even-
There you
that's what he's
He
saying.
didn't even skip a beat on that one.
I tell you, this place is really nice. Like I'm sitting here in like awe right now. like I love the Watchmen, and I keep looking like all this Watchmen stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it's the best movie in the world. I'm just saying. Best comic
What
in the world.
What do you think about the New 52 with them dropping the clue about Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta look into it, but it's just I don't know. So
Is the Watchmen in the New 52?
Actually, the latest is because a lot of people didn't like the New 52,
yeah.
so they released what they call DC's Rebirth,
Right.
and it's supposed to be blending the worlds together, and it has to do. They've basically been hinting, backpedaling and hinting that Dr. Manhattan has something to do with everything, because now it seems that the heroes of old are starting to get their memories from the other universe. Like Wally West actually has been pulled out of the Speed Force.
Okay.
And Batman actually found Rorschach, not Rorschach, the comedian's pin
Okay.
with the blood stain.
The smiley face with the.
Yeah, he
okay.
found it in the Batcave. He's like walking up. He's like talking to himself inside his house. He's giving his narrative for the evening. He's like this evening's events. He goes, "There's something very wrong. There's not. It just doesn't seem to make sense. It seems like I've done something like this similar before, but not here. This is not. It's almost like I'm walking through a dream." And as he's walking up the steps from the Batcave, he sees something glinting off to the side, and then the panel gets real close, and he goes, "I wonder if this has something to do with it." And he finds the pin. And the Flash has also found a pin similar. And basically what they're hinting at is that Dr. Manhattan had something to do with the entire DC universe being flipped around and switched over.
Do we have a pin? Do we sell them?
The
Do we
pin,
rate-
the comedian
do
pin.
we sell the comedian pin here?
We used to.
It used to be here at some point.
Oh God, I know. I still want another one of those. I had one.
I would definitely dig
Do not
one.
have one at the moment.
Oh, he's gonna get it. You can get it though, right?
Bam, bam,
Oh
bam,
no.
bam.
At least he's honest.
I think he can get everything. So
I would try.
All right.
Excellent.
Well, I definitely want to bring this up real quick before we go into the because it's perfect segue into the topic I brought up for our rant today. But beforehand, what do you guys think? Has anybody been following the CW Flash as of late? What do you guys think of Savitar being revealed as the future Barry Allen? Absolutely. Come on.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
It's
let's
canon.
do it.
How y'all doing? I think it's excellent because I originally didn't know anything about any comic books until about last year, but I knew a little bit. But to see that the New 52, I mean, they add in a little bit of that into the TV world and now in the comic book. So I think it was a surprise. I felt like I already knew it, but it was more of a surprise. And my mom, she was sitting there, she's like, "It has to be Barry from the future." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, Mom. It might be the older guy. They're taking the route from the older comic book, so it might not be Barry, but there's a possibility." And then when we saw it, she was like, "I knew it. I was right." And I was like, "Okay, Mom, you're right." But I think it's a good idea. I love it because it just shows how much how far it came from the first season. And I read not the down arrow, I watch it, but I've been like faithfully every Tuesday night watching The Flash, and then like this is like the second week since I haven't seen the arrow. So I think Savitar being Barry from from the future is just it's breathtaking, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna do for the last two shows.
Nice. And you are?
Where you from?
My name is Kevin. I'm from Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, West Philly.
Born and raised on the
Born
playground.
and raised, yeah.
That's where I spent most of my days.
I came to Dave after I couldn't find another comic book store, and out of all the comic book stores that I've been to, this is my home away from home. And like Dave says, this is the second best place on the earth. So, shout out to Dave.
Big shout out, Dave.
Yeah, big shout out to Dave.
So there you go, from the mouth of babes themselves. You didn't give us your name, man.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Says Kevin.
It's Kevin, right?
Kevin.
Well, it's
Kevin.
nice to meet you,
With a
Kevin.
K.
Nice to meet you, Kevin.
All right, do we have any Q-tips on hand for Chris here so he can clean out his ears?
Yeah, we might need that. I don't know. A Q-tip around here might have been held by like, Stan Lee or something. They cost me about $10,000. But
Especially if his earwax on it.
What about you guys? I mean, I was kind of thrown for a loop because, like he was saying with his mom, like they were having the bets on who it could be. I really thought that Savitar was going to be revealed to be like Jay Garrick. I thought it was going to be the second Earth Flash in the future or something of that nature, even though he was supposed to be trapped in the Speed Force.
Yeah, no, actually, I like it. Because I've been actually catching it on the CW seed, catching the episodes that I can on my tablet. So yeah, I'm for it. I'm always excited when they take a new direction. So, I mean, yeah, I know I know I'm a diehard fan on certain things, but I like to see them to explore. I'm actually opening up my mind to alternate universes and different, because I like different artists, I like different story writers. So let's see what they're going to do with this one. Each story writer brings something different to the table. So let's see what they're going to do.
All right. Christina, how about you? And even more so, how do you feel about the fact that they call this CW-DC universe the Arrowverse, but really everything that affects in all the shows stems from the Flash and his constant interactions with Flashpoint?
I think the reason they call it the Arrowverse, to be honest, is the fact that that was the first universe of DC they introduced into the series. Like, the first one they had was Arrow. Then they brought, I think it was Flash after that. Then they brought in Supergirl, which is really Supergirl, except for those couple of crossover episodes that popped up. It's really independent universe compared to the other ones because this is such a different Earth that they really haven't crossed over. Well, except for the Flash episode and season 1 of Supergirl and that major crossover episode they did with Legends of Tomorrow.
Right, the Invasion episode.
And the Legend, and then Legends, which actually Legends was really cool too. I'd have to put that out there because they brought in a lot of those second-rate people that you,
as we speak,
those second-rate maybe backstory people, and gave them more of a role, like like Freeze and those people, and actually gave them a starring role. So I mean, the whole universe is great, but yeah, as far as it being the Arrowverse, it's really not. It's more of a a collaboration, and the Flash and everything is affected by the Time Force.
Well, again, especially with Supergirl, she's kind of standoutish from the Arrowverse just from the fact that she wasn't started on CW. She was CBS, if I'm not mistaken, for first season, and then CW bought her to bring her over onto the CW after the first season.
Wish somebody bought me.
Yeah, right. Me too.
DJ Zach, how you feel? You've been keeping up with the Flash or the CW world?
My A.D.D has got me all over this store. This is such a great store. That's all. I'm not even gonna lie. I was listening and I totally just drifted in the back, and now I'm over here again. I'm just here.
Well, wait, were you here yet when all of us just stopped in the middle?
I was. That's why I turned my head. I thought something happened. If you guys were talking, you guys were like knee deep in conversation. All of a sudden, I just hear.
Dead,
like a good 20 seconds. I thought we were putting some promos in, and then all of a sudden it's like there's a jet.
That was completely.
Oh my God. And then
that was completely my bad. I will accept that.
Well, then I'm looking at this jet because it has like a little gun handle thing on it, which I thought that was cool.
Oh wow!
That's a Naboo fighter.
Oh wow! There's more back there. Holy jets!
That's the bat.
I like the Green Lantern thing in the back, and then I was like, oh, I want that. And then I got totally confused when I saw the horse.
I know the horse is distracting in the middle.
You can't do that. And then Robin's like just sneaking up there, like he's just hanging out. You did this on purpose, didn't you? Dave did this on purpose for ADDs.
I don't know. Seriously, it's like when Christina and I first got here. Like what? We got here 20 minutes before the broadcast.
More like an hour before. We got here a little bit after 1 o'clock.
And we just. I think I couldn't tell you what color the carpet is in this place. I was looking up so much.
Right?
I just looked at it for the first time.
I know. I just looked down at it. It's red. Okay. Now I have that fact. But look, something shiny and put in plastic, and I want to buy it.
But yeah, like I said, this place is absolutely incredible. Like just stuff in here, it's like mind blowing. Especially if you're any kind of fan like we all are. I mean, some of the comic books in here alone is just
action figures, graphic novels.
There's stuff I haven't seen in years in here. They have original Kenner Star Wars hiding in here.
I know. Oh, I know.
And yeah, so it's like
It taunts me every time I walk in here. Trust me.
and they have the Emperor, which I'm going to buy just so you can't rub it in. I got the Emperor.
Oh, I've been having a blast on radio on
I'm gonna have
breaking
to
the fourth
purchase
wall
that
with
off
that.
of you. Just give me a price on that. Let me know how much for that Emperor. Special, podcaster price.
And if you guys
That
have
means we pay
noticed, too,
10% more. That's usually how it happens. Just joking.
Well, as
figured.
three of us, well, four of us here, since we count AV and here are DJs. Also remember that they not just the comic books and the action figures. We have vintage records and CDs and tapes all throughout here as well. No tapes? Okay, I stand corrected. Nobody knows what a tape is, but we do have vinyl and CDs here. So
Well,
I mean,
tapes
And also,
break down after
he
age.
has some
Yeah.
Atari. He has some Atari games too.
Yeah.
Where? I didn't
I
even
did
see
see that.
those.
Oh yes, there's some down there.
Are there
I spied
really?
them. Yes, I swear.
Oh my God!
We got the Village People on vinyl.
Wait,
oh,
what?
we're all getting together and buying that for Eric later.
The Village People.
Nice try, Chris.
He probably already has it.
YMCA
probably
is on
does.
here. It's on here.
Of course.
He's probably got like 3 different editions of it. No, don't touch them. They're my collector's pieces.
He got Zach to back off. That was so funny. He's like, "Oh, what?" He's like,
Zach-
"It's collectors."
We've lost Zach. Like he's got a microphone. He can talk, but
This usually doesn't happen either. Usually I don't shut up. And it's like,
he walked completely off of
That's
camera and
definitely
everything
true.
else. He's just like Watchmen and vinyl and.
you throw me because now I see Shrek.
Oh my!
Punisher to Shrek. That's it.
Wow. From a distance, I can see a Steve Martin record there.
Oh my goodness! This is like it's
Ooh,
just,
20,000
over.
Leagues
It's
Under the
just,
Sea. See?
I think it's
Just came out.
overload.
Well, I think I'll hold off on our rant questions since we're talking about the store so much. I'm gonna step back and I'm gonna leave you guys in it. No, I'll let him sit here. I'll step back and I'll leave you guys to do the interview and everything else. Let's bring Dave on and let him actually talk about his store and some of the things he has here.
All because Chris wants to shop.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. I want to
Hello.
go shop.
You should have had the wireless mic, Chris. You could just walk around and talk and shop at the same time.
Ladies and
Yay,
gentlemen,
don't
Mr.
let him buy
Dave Schwartz, the
anything.
proprietor
Good move,
of
good
Comic
move.
Collections.
Can we get a credit account here?
Yeah, right.
I don't know if I can afford that.
What's your number? $100 a month.
We do layaway, however.
I still want to know how much that Emperor is.
Okay.
Dave, what got you involved in this?
I've been reading. Yes, I guess I am short, aren't I?
Hold on, we gotta get the mic adjustment. Yeah, say ah. Now insert. There you go. Slowly insert.
I've
Never stop.
been reading comics since I was about 4 years old, and that was way back in the '60s. So now I'm not only short, but I'm old too. And I was,
He's not as old as
out
Yoda.
of high school. I went to college, did all that fun stuff, and decided that I wanted to go into business, doing comic stuff. And at one point I said to my father, I was like, well, this is what I want to do. And he looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, that's an awful lot of comic books to pay that rent. And I was like, I can do it, Dad. And I did it. I'm still here 32 plus years later. And this past March was our 32nd year. And still going strong.
That's amazing.
Okay, so my question for you is, out of everything that you've collected over the years in this store, what is your absolute favorite piece that you've been able to get a hold of?
That's too vast of a question. I've gotten some great pieces out of here. Some of like the statues that I carry. There's this great Daredevil statue that I love. There's also, I have like the original, the Superman statue that used to be on Seinfeld.
You
The
have
actual
that?
prop?
The actual one?
Where's that at?
Well, it's not the actual one, but it's my, I own that.
Wow.
That they were sold in comic stores.
All right,
So-
cool.
Apparently Seinfeld put
So,
that in there
all
as
right,
well.
I got a
Justice
question
League
for
chess
you.
set.
And a Justice
Justice
League
League
chess
chess
set.
Let me get the phone.
I got a question.
Let me get the phone for you. I get it for you.
Hey, you're on the air with DJ Zach.
Where's the phone?
Steve will get it.
Oh,
In other words, you're not allowed to answer it.
like this. This is DJ Zach. How can I help you? What happened?
Well, she asked your favorite piece. Do you have any personal favorites, like personal characters?
Well, growing up, I had 3 from Marvel, 3 from DC. Obviously, it's expanded since then, because too much is never enough.
The addiction.
Oh, I know.
I just never, I started reading at 4 and I just never stopped. So, so my favorites from DC would probably be, well, when I was younger, it was always Superman, Batman, and Green Lantern. And
Okay, trifecta.
And then Marvel was Spider-Man, Captain America, and of course Daredevil.
That's one we have in common. Daredevil's personal favorite of mine.
They were
always.
And you know what? The series still goes on, and the stories are so well written now. I still can't complain.
Too bad the movie was horrible.
And I actually like the movie.
See, I'm not the only one.
Okay.
I like the movie.
Yeah, I like the movie. What's wrong with the movie?
I like these shirts.
I mean, it wasn't the best. They could have done so much better.
Actually, if they took out Elektra, it would have just been better.
I was about to say Electra was horrible, but I mean Ben Affleck doing Daredevil kind of led towards Batfleck.
I know.
And technically, if you really think about it really well in Marvel terms, all right, people said Affleck was too white bread, but technically, what is Matt Murdock?
Very white bread.
Right, he's a white bread lawyer. So, he may not have had the dark side, but he had the light side.
Exactly.
Murdoch.
He had to have that daytime persona.
Correct.
I do have a confession for Daredevil, though. When I first started reading comics back in, I would say, mid-'80s, I had a bunch of Daredevil comics, but it wasn't for, a couple of years that I finally realized he was blind in the comics.
Wow.
I completely missed it when I would read the comics.
Wow, that's hilarious. I mean, I knew from day one.
Apparently you don't have radar sense.
No.
I have another question for you. So, out of everything that you've seen over the years, what is the absolute weirdest item you've ever gotten in the store? Just looked at it and
slapstick.
Slapstick?
That's just so off. We even have him laughing. He knows I'm right.
All right, I'll lead you on one here. I got a question for you. You talked to me before about this before.
Don't go away. Come on in.
What? Yeah, don't worry. You can come in.
Join the force.
Join in.
We don't bite.
You had brought on this new game system that you were talking about. You were going to start running in the store.
HeroClix.
HeroClix. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it and what's going to be going on in the store with it?
Well, we've been running these, I think, since January. The HeroClix tournaments. They're basically, come on in. Welcome to the comic collection.
Welcome.
And Steve will take care of you if you have any questions.
We're only doing
a shop while they're doing this.
So, and the HeroClix, we play them. We were playing them every other Sunday. So if you want to find out when we're playing, you can go to the WizKids website and look when we're playing them. You can also go to our website, our Facebook website, which is just Comic Collection on Facebook, and I usually post something in there as well. So we do play, not every Sunday, but every other Sunday, give or take. Yeah, it involves the superheroes, whether it's Marvel, DC, and sometimes both, fighting each other together. I think he's really having so much fun.
Oh my goodness, he's knocking
you got me,
toys
now I
over.
found a Buzz Lightyear and a Lion King thing. Fighting
awesome.
Action Mufasa.
Actually,
he died in that movie.
I know a little bit about Click because I've actually collected a few.
Wasn't that good?
Okay.
I actually have done I did. One of my favorite casts was the Midnight Suns. You might remember that.
Yep.
Remember that series?
Ghost Rider.
Yes.
Spirits of Vengeance.
Yeah, exactly. I actually built that team out of individual clicks.
Nice.
And actually, I'm actually trying to do the Defenders now because I know they have a few Jessica
They just
Jones.
came out with Avengers Defenders.
Did they came out with the Defenders?
Just came out this week.
Oh, sweetness! Because I don't play much, but I do collect them because I actually use them in my D&D, like for miniatures and stuff like that.
Right to your right.
Okay, cool. Because I actually did build that. I have a couple of Daredevil pieces because yes, Daredevil, of course. Because this is because now you're talking the other part of my favorite thing is gaming, Magic, Pokemon, HeroClix.
I love Pokemon Go. I'm always on Pokemon Go.
Oh, so am I. I am major
Go Team
Pokemon
Valor.
Go
Gotta
player.
catch 'em
Go
all.
Team Valor.
Mystic. Let me guess.
I hate you guys.
You are a Mystic, aren't
I
you?
am.
At least you're not Instinct.
No, listen, I get in trouble
Is
at work
anybody Instinct?
because I walk around because I
Yeah,
work
the
at a
paint
trucking
eaters.
company and I walk around outside. It's a huge lot, and they're just like, "Where's Zach at?" And they look out the window and they see me like this. What are you doing? Catching Pokemon.
Well, after watching how you've been through this podcast, I could just imagine when you're doing in the mix on RadioCast, you're literally like, "Here's the next song."
That's what I do. Yeah. And then I'll even interrupt the song. Excuse me, James Brown.
Let me put a really long song on because there's a Snorlax outside.
Ask Dave. We do that. We do that.
I knew it. I knew
Here
it.
we go.
We take them 10-minute breaks.
You can always put on Freebird.
We were there we go.
Also, you can probably do Ingata Davida.
That's exactly what
Yeah,
I was
there
going
we
to say.
go,
Ingata
too.
Davida.
That's another long one for you.
Paradise Dashboard's long too.
Love that song.
Or Stranglehold.
Yes,
Stairway to Heaven.
Ted Nugent. Everybody's like this. What did we do last week? Oh, we were in Mays Landing. I ended up on the road in Route 40. Next, there's pictures of me in the AC press that they took. Of course, they could take any picture in the world. They take me going like this on my phone, looking down on Route 40 in the middle of the road. That's what they take.
You were the guy that caused the accident on the highway for the Pikachu, weren't you?
I'm not going to incriminate myself. I may or may not have my truck set up so I can play Pokemon Go and drive safely at the same time.
Well, you said keyword there is safely.
Very safely. I have a phone holder I bought from Walmart, which I have snapped onto the vent on the one side. So I can just literally, as I'm driving, I can just, if something pops up or I hit a Pokestop, I can
just swipe it.
I can just bang everything. Yeah,
Beep, beep.
no
Walk
problems
away.
at all.
I'll tell you what, though, I've as a passenger in a car, I've played Pokemon Go and everything. There's some skill getting that Pokeball to flick just right when you're on a bumpy road.
I know, and some of our friends are like, "You guys still play?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fun. I don't care. It doesn't have to consume every second of my life."
The thing I like about it
gets
fits
me out of
into
my house.
life. It completely fits into my life. It's not like a lot of the other phone games out there where it requires a certain amount of time a day to play. Like you have to go, oh, I have to go build this. I have to set this up to build for 24 hours. Oh, I got to set this up for 36 hours. I got to go burn this village down.
I was
blah,
gonna
blah,
point
blah,
that
blah,
out to
blah,
you.
blah, blah. Like, I'm not going to name the horrible games I'm talking about, but at the same, with Pokemon Go, I literally jump in when I'm going to work. I plug in my phone. I load up Pokemon Go. I hit the end of my block, hit the Pokestop at the end of my block. Just hit that stuff. As stuff pops up, I hit it. We go our little detours on the way home, hit the stops on the way home. And it's it's fun. It fits right into my life. This is like a phone game to me. That's what a phone game should do, not necessarily like dominate your life like Clash of Clans or something along those lines.
Well, see, for me, for instance, is when you got two boys, such as a 16-year-old and a now 9-year-old, and you're driving down the road, and they decide to go, "Hey, Dad, can you make a right? We want to go catch that special Pokemon around the corner." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? We got to get to where we're going. Come on, Dad, just stop. We want to catch this Pokemon." I'm like, "We can't do it. All right, we'll be
You're
late."
the one is when they're trying to catch a Pokemon, you deliberately drive faster so they lose it, aren't you?
No, he does. He drops him off and drives back by himself. Hey, remember that Pokemon you were talking about the other day?
Well, I can't even state on it because at least you have the excuse of like a child asking you to go to a Pokestop or something. There have been times when Jen and I were playing this game, and like even on rainy days like today, we'd be sitting outside of like Chickies and Pete's on the Boulevard, which is a Pokestop, and we sat there for a good 2 hours just to collect Pokeballs. I mean, throwing up lures on the stop and everything else.
Oh, like we have room to talk.
I know, Dover Green.
You know, how many hours have we spent walking around the same loop at Dover Green because it's like a perfect 5 Pokestops, and the amount of time it takes to walk all the way around, hit the gym, walk all the way back around, the stops all reset.
And you get meters on the eggs, boy.
Oh, yeah, because it's all about that meterage in the end.
Hey, I've got a RadioCast FM question for Dave.
Uh-oh.
We're probably going to be coming up on our second break here in a minute, and during the breaks we usually do a couple commercials, and then we also play a couple songs. You have a couple requests you want to have Mr. DJ AV play during that break?
I did request a couple earlier. That was Eminence Front from me.
What'd you request?
And some Eminence Front from The Who, and Leave It from Yes.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Good choices.
How about that In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida?
Oh, there we go.
All right, let's go play Pokemon Go.
Put Freebird on right after that. We'll see you guys around 5:30. 5:30 we'll be back.
Stairway to Heaven after that.
The cheapest way to DJ.
And then we will finish off the set with I Would Do Everything for Love, but I Won't Do That by Meatloaf.
There you go. There you go. And then we'll do a mix.
And let's not forget Stranglehold by Ted Nugent.
There you go.
We'll mix it. We'll put Paradise Dashboard in that too. We'll mix it into.
There you go. Yeah. The remix.
Yeah. You pay. What do we pay? $700 for a 4-hour DJ. That's what we charge right now. We just play 5 songs. That's it. 4 hours, 5 songs.
Maximizing that dollar.
Drop the equipment off. See you later.
I'm gonna go play Pokemon Go.
Where's the DJ at? He's out there with a microphone in his hand, just looking at his phone. What's wrong with that boy?
When I worked for another internet radio station, they used to get a kick. They used to say, like, after 5 songs, you should at least speak on the thing. Right? Yeah. Well, I'm like, okay, one day I was having, like, bad intestinal issues, so I literally did that. I put on In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida and everything else. He's like, it's been 40 minutes. You haven't been on the mic. I'm like, I'm taking a dump.
Okay, see now. We're back.
Oh, my God.
Where's DJ Zach? Live from the bathroom, looking in the mirror. Meatloaf coming at you. Stick around.
Speaking of meatloaf, I'm pinching a loaf right now.
Oh, man. I don't know where you guys are at, but you do not want to be here. But they should be right here where we are. Tell them where we're at again. They want to get a hold of you if they have a special collection.
This is the comic collection at 83 Bustleton Pike in Feasterville. We are literally a walking distance to Philadelphia, northeast Philadelphia at the far end. So we're literally 1 minute away from Philadelphia. Bustleton and County Line Road is the cross street where Feasterville meets Philadelphia. So we're about 1 minute up the road towards Street Road. Come on down and visit us.
What's the phone number here?
215-357-3332.
That's 215-357-3332. Make sure you guys check us out. We're within an hour drive from everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
So stop on out. It's a great place to be.
Oh, it really is. Like, the more I look around, I still see more stuff. Like, I just found they have a reboot character over there. I remember that show from when I was a kid. It's like, they have Hexadecimal sitting there? Wow.
If I find the comedian,
that show. That show was awesome.
Everybody know.
I'm sitting here thinking right now, I think I'm going to have to be having a conversation with Dave after the show of, like, us coming back, like, every month to do a breaking the fourth wall just so the panel can have an excuse to come up and buy stuff.
Well, I don't think it, honestly, like, every month would be a cost effective for some of us because, you know, I started driving at, like, 9:30 this morning to be here, and yeah, so maybe every couple months would be perfect.
Is that like the
then we can spend a lot more money because we'll have time in between.
I can actually amass more money. I can come in and spend like $300-400 in one shot. Which, believe me, I already said when I first walked in here, I'm like, the sad part is just walking around here, I could drop $1,000 without even regretting it in here.
I honestly could feel my.
I'm about to drop $249.99.
I totally am down with the idea. However, my wallet is saying. No.
See what happens is my checking and savings account both don't talk.
Come on.
Yeah, I know they got divorced a long time ago.
My credit card would sit there and cut itself up on me. Are you kidding me?
It's $249 for this. I might.
Hey, that's a famous woman's word, layaway. I'm digging that.
Do we have run as you go plans here? No, I'm joking.
Look, you should be happy. I saved you money. I bought it on sale. Look.
And once again, now I just look over and see if a giant figurine of Grendel. This place.
Oh, when does Spider-Man get there? Uh-huh. All day. Right there.
You realize that you're in the dangerous spot.
Well, that's
no
it.
kidding.
Yeah.
Why? Because he might get Spider-Man's butt in his face?
Speaking of pinching a loaf.
Think about that. We have the best view in the house. We look up and we just see the backside of Spider-Man.
Just remember he said his spidey sense is tingling. Run.
Exactly.
It was that meatloaf.
Wait. Did you say tingling or tinkling?
Either or would be a really bad thing.
I thought it was a leak.
How much time we got left?
We're at an hour and 21 minutes.
No, I mean for break.
Whatever you want to do.
Why don't we go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll still hit that quick rant, and then we'll give our outros.
That sounds like a plan.
On RadioCastFM.com. Hey, what's up, guys? We're back. That was a little jump by Van Halen. Welcome back to Breaking the Fourth Wall here at Comic Collections at Feasterville. We're having a great time. I hope you guys are too, listening in. We're hoping you guys will walk in some more, but you know what? We did have one walk in from Crusin 92.1. Philly
Hi,
Carroll.
everyone. How are you? Philly Carroll here. I had to stop by. I was running a little bit late, but I'm glad I got here just in time.
Well, Philly Carroll, let me ask you: Are you a pop culture geek? Are you into comic books and collectibles and stuff?
You know, I have to be a little bit because my son loves all this. And guess what? This is his beat. He's a police officer.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So this is his district.
He knew the place. He knew the store. He said, I know exactly where it is. I invited him to come, but he had to do something else.
Well, we could have used the security.
But he must stop in a lot because he said, I know the place. He told me to get him a Batman statue.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Well,
really?
Right up front.
I'm sure
Yeah.
Dave could definitely accommodate.
Yeah, so Mario, if you're listening, we're here.
All right. Well, real quick, normally we give our movie reviews of the week and everything else, and I did promise a little bit of time to Eric's son here. He wanted to talk a little bit, so we'll let him get on in a little bit here. But before we do the movie picks of the week, since we have a little bit of time, let's go ahead and hit that rant we usually do real quick. The last couple weeks we've been talking about Star Wars and how important canon is with the books and the comic books and everything kind of tying into the Star Wars universe in the movies and stuff of that nature. Why is it so important for one type of franchise, but yet like with the DCEU and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, canon doesn't matter. Nothing really matches what's going on in the comic books. Why, in your opinion, do you guys think that there's such a major difference between the film industry views of the comic book world as opposed to the book aspect of the comic book world? Come on in, guys. It's fine.
Well,
Friendly Neighborhood Podcast.
There you go.
there you go. There's a title for the episode.
There you go. Friendly
Neighborhood Podcast.
I still think the episode's title has got to be ADD Attack in Comic Collections.
All right.
Because a plane.
Okay. Yeah, I know, a plane.
Once again, my bad. Okay.
I think it has to do with roots, because Star Wars, we've always known it as a movie franchise, whereas in the DC universe, the Marvel universe, there's always been hints and ideas of other universes that can change, that you can have different canons and different effects and different, side ideas and whatever, and it can be explored fully and totally. Whereas Star Wars has always been one giant universe. Everyone's allowed to have separate stories, but it's all one universe.
Okay.
And comic books, it's written that way, so you can do it that way. Whereas movies, this is the way it's been. There's been books that have correlated with the movies, but it wasn't a book first, it was a movie first.
All right. Christina?
Let me think about it. Go to Eric first.
All right, we'll go to Eric.
Why you always go to me?
Because you're the left side of her brain.
Can I be on the right side?
No, because I'm left-handed, so I'm always in the right mind.
There you go.
Okay. As far as like what the comic books, as far as with their storyline, they pretty much followed to the comic books, with the villains and stuff like that. As far as with Star Wars, I mean, like Matt said, it's a big universe, different planets, different aliens, whatever creatures you would like to call them. Yeah, I mean, it's different. I mean, we're talking about space with this Star Wars, and, you're talking about with comic book characters, it's all the deals with Gotham, what's that,
Metropolis.
Metropolis for Superman. You have different areas. I mean, as far as, like, we know, like, Daredevil, he's, that's pretty much New York, and Batman's New York, and...
Batman's Gotham City.
Well, that's basically in New York.
Well, let's be fair. In the DC universe, they always talk about Metropolis and Gotham, but really it is New York. They just refuse to call it New York.
It's day and night.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree with that.
But don't forget also, they've actually shown where, like, where Metropolis and Gotham are supposed to be in America. In their universe, it's usually, like, between New York and Boston somewhere. And same thing with Philly. Philly's, like, closer to Central City, and Central City's closer to them. Or it's supposed to be closer to Detroit or whatever, as like Keystone City. That's obviously like Philly or like Harrisburg or Pennsylvania area, and Central City is like more like Detroit. So it's always like correlated close.
Well, it is kind of interesting that you bring that up. Like when you think about the mythos of Superman, he flies around in Metropolis, which we just stated. We all know it's New York, but they just call it Metropolis. But like even Clark Kent coming from Smallville, but Smallville's in Kansas. They announced the fact that it's in the state of Kansas. Why can't they just make him from Wichita? Why does it have to be Smallville?
I think the reason for that is if you have a fictional town, you can do whatever you want with it. If you have a real town, then you're kind of locked into landmarks and things to that aspect. Where, Wichita has certain landmarks that would have to be represented in either a comic book or even a movie or anything else. If you're filming in Smallville, you can pretty much make whatever landmark you want, and it gives you more versatility as far as the universe goes.
Okay. Are you ready to answer the question about the importance of canon and why it's not followed in the comic book movie universes?
Sure, why not? Well, I think one of the major reasons why is as far as comic book canon, I think a lot of the reasons behind that, I think I've stated this before, is that with the movies, with the TV series, even anything along that kind of media, I think they're trying to create a different story and a different canon more than anything else. That way, then, the people who've read all the comic books, they have something new to read. They have something new to learn. As opposed to, like, if they follow the comic books verbatim, then people will get bored of it. Like, I already know what's going to happen. What's the point of me watching this? So I think that's one of the reasons why they vary so much, is that they want to keep that separation so people keep interested in it.
Okay. Philly Carroll, but she's talking. So you know what? While she's talking, we'll go ahead and we'll go down to our youngest fan of Breaking the Fourth Wall here, Eric Batista's son, Mr. Eric Batista Jr. EJ.
Hello.
How you doing, EJ?
Not much.
All right. Now you're a comic book guy, right? Like the movies and stuff like that.
Yep.
Would you want to see the TV shows and movies follow more with the comics, or do you like the way they're creating new stories as they go along?
I like it following the comics because, like, when you watch the movie and when you watch you read the comic, and if it's like the opposite, it'll make more confusing.
All right. Who's your favorite comic book hero, on TV or in the comics?
I'll go with Batman.
Batman? Why Batman?
Because he has the cool gadgets.
He's got all the toys. Who's your favorite Batman? Is it Adam West? Do you like the Bat-Tusi?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, he wasn't born yet, Chris.
So what? It's on DVD. He can watch it. I wasn't born yet, and I know it.
He's mostly seeing like the Michael Keaton, some of the
good
other
stuff.
So who's your favorite Batman? Let's just add it like that.
Hard choice.
Hard choice. Who's your favorite Joker? We had that conversation last week.
Yes, we did. Well, we did. You didn't.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to talk. Mommy told me no.
Somebody's got to
go ahead. Who's your favorite Joker?
I can't remember.
Well,
you can't remember?
Let's help him out then.
All right.
You had Jack Nicholson,
who played the Joker with Michael Keaton.
You also had Heath Ledger,
who was in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I'll take Dark Knight.
You take Dark Knight. You like Heath Ledger. Mm-hmm. By the way, I brought it up. I brought it up to Matt and Christina earlier. I'll bring it to you guys when you guys did last week's show because I was down sick. We did forget one important Joker for live action performance in Gotham. The kid who plays him.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah. The kid that played what was
Martano or
I forget. He played. Yeah, I remember. Oh, but he played a convincing Joker too for a young age. I mean, it's a shame they did what they did in the show. If you didn't watch it yet, I mean,
I've watched it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at this point it's old enough. I think everyone who's going to watch it has watched it.
Okay, he ended up dying. I mean, what a waste of talent there, right?
But they did bring him back.
They did.
They brought him back in the newest season, and they actually pulled the whole entire Joker's face cut off and then stapled back on thing.
I haven't caught this season of Gotham much. I've been busy. Sorry.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but they just renewed that for Gotham another season.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm gonna watch it.
Well, it's been getting real interesting in Gotham with the fact that they've been actually bringing in the villains, starting to take on their roles. Like Edward Nygma is now referring to himself as the Riddler. And
well, it's good to see too because we know Gotham. When we think Gotham, we think Batman. These are the actual like citizens. We already know Bruce Wayne's origin story. We've seen it. How many times we know?
How many versions of it have we seen?
Exactly.
Well, they're doing it again in Gotham because right now he's training with not Ra's al Ghul. No, he's doing it with the Order of the Owls.
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, you know what? I don't think they actually officially announced him as Ra's though. He's still like a mystery to Bruce on who he is.
All right. Well, that's good and all, but like they gave it time for the other characters to go first. To kind of now that Batman's getting his training as a kid.
Yeah.
But before they gave everybody else their earmarks, if you will, they gave everybody like instead of a glimpse like of him like bumping to them in the street, it was actually like a full story.
Yeah.
You know, dedicated to those characters.
But yeah, I figured since I wasn't on the show, I did have to give a shout out to that kid who played the Joker in Gotham because everybody praises Heath Ledger's performance, and I thought he did a great performance. God rest him and everything else, but I got to give it to that kid, man. He was the most convincing Joker to me, next to Mark Hamill. Really, of like all-time Jokers.
If you want to get into those, we've got the person who, I can't remember his name, but voiced the Joker in the video game series, too. He did an incredible job in the Arkham series.
That was Mark Hamill.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. Look it up.
There was another one. His name was Adam something.
IMDb to the rescue.
IMDb to the rescue.
I'm on it right now.
While we're doing that, let's go ahead. I know I'm getting looked at by our director here.
No, I'm not.
We'll go ahead and we'll get into our movie picks of the week.
Dun,
Let's
dun,
go ahead.
dun.
We're in a comic book store.
Here we go.
Let's choose comic book movies, but no, not the Avengers and not, yes. What do you say?
Well, we're leaving out Two-Face here.
We're leaving out Two-Face.
Yes, he's just sitting in the background, just crying back there.
Oh, he's crying back there?
Yep.
Only one half of him, though, right? The other half is angry?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, who's your favorite Two-Face? Would it be from Dark Knight, or would you say Tommy Lee Jones in Batman Forever?
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight? See, I would say Billy D. Williams, because he was in the original Batman movie
he was.
as Harvey Dent, but then he was finally able to play Two-Face in the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was the voice of Harvey Two-Face in the Batman Lego movie.
Oh, excellent.
So Billy D. Williams is my choice.
Okay.
No, what I was going to say as far as our movie picks of the week, let's go ahead and do it a comic book theme, but not the major ones that just came out. Let's choose obscure comic book movie choices of the week.
Ooh.
I know you can see if
I already got
I can see it in your eyes. Go ahead.
I already got mine.
Oh, because I've already said it once before, and a lot of people don't realize it was a comic book movie.
Go ahead.
The master of quack fu himself, Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck. Mr. George Lucas.
Hey, I'll say this: a lot of people don't realize that he was a Marvel character. Actually, he was one of the first comic book characters I actually tried to draw freehanded. I actually took a comic book still and put it right next to me, and I drew and I copied that thing I tried to hand draw it for like 3 hours, and finally I cracked and I got it right, and I started reproducing my own little version of it. And Howard, and he's such the movie. Everyone's like, was it a kids movie? It's not. I was like, no, actually, it was an adult. It was supposed to be adult slapstick.
It could be both.
Yeah, it can. And actually, if you do find it, it's on DVD. I don't think it's on Blu-ray yet, but it's on DVD. And
I've got it.
Oh, okay. And I've actually watched it and watched the behind the scenes because it's funny hearing Leah Thompson talk about. She goes, it was kind of weird, just being in some of that the set stuff that they did. And because they actually had two people that played Howard. It was a 10-year-old boy and it was a 30-year-old midget man. So, and it was so funny too because
Little person.
Sorry.
I prefer horizontally challenged.
There you go.
Whatever.
Or vertically challenged.
And it was just too fun. It was just too funny because she was like, it was so weird. She goes, she had to make sure it was the guy, not the little kid, so she didn't feel so uncomfortable in certain scenes.
Okay, Christina.
I'm actually going to go for a very obscure one, Stan Lee's Lightspeed.
Oh, wow. I don't even think I know anything about this. Tell me about it.
It's about this cop who becomes a superhero after getting involved. I've seen it once. I do have it on DVD. I found it in like a discount bin at like Ollie's. So, but it's about this police officer who's investigating this break-in at this like super collider, and the super collider kind of explodes, which puts him into a coma. When he wakes up, he has super speed, and he becomes a superhero pretty much. So. It's a really interesting movie. It's a very offbeat Stan Lee movie. So I think it was done for Sci-Fi Channel. So it'll give you an idea of how like low the quality is. But it's definitely a fun, interesting movie to watch.
Please tell me Stan Lee does a cameo in it.
Of course.
Uh-oh. Dave's got one.
Something you brought up earlier, and I just saw it posted. Remember you brought up the Avenged Sevenfold might do a makeup concert.
Yes,
they're doing one June 21st.
See, I told you that's the way the band is. So
they will honor all tickets, so keep the ones you had last night.
Nice. So
there you go.
That's good.
That's why I became a fan of Avenged Sevenfold. Besides their music, they do treat their fans right. So right on to them.
Yep.
Eric, your choice.
Say Spawn.
Spawn. Ooh. A movie that a lot of people are calling for a reboot of.
Yes.
Go ahead. Give your
yes.
Give your reasonings. Also, another R-rated movie.
Yeah. Very true.
Yep.
Just it's not much.
You got a PG one? I got a PG one. All right. Well, we'll let you give you one too.
It just was, one of the type of movies I think I really enjoyed of Spawn. I think with his cape and what he was able to do and how he got created was kind of messed up. Being set up.
Now, see, I would have given one answer for the Spawn movie. John Leguizamo as the clown.
The clown. I'm sorry, with that movie, my biggest issue with that, I have to rant on this for a second, was I saw this in the theaters. I was really excited because I love Spawn. And I saw it in the theaters, and it seemed like they dumped the entire budget into the cape. Like where you're standing on top of the building, his cape's flowing. They seemed they dumped the entire budget into that, and John Leguizamo, and that was it. And everything else was just hard, was not that good. So I'm sorry, I do have to rant about that because that movie drives me nuts because of that.
Well, the chains were kind of interesting too. So the budget went a little bit into the chains.
But yeah, it mostly went into the cape because the cape effect was amazing. Everything else was like.
Well, real quick, I'll give mine. Mine is very simple. It's obscure, but a lot of people do forget that it was a comic book first from Kitchen Sink Press, The Crow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Brandon Lee's last performance, probably one of the best graphic novel interpretations into a comic book movie.
They're going to got a disagreement behind you.
Uh-oh. Well,
I like the movie. Don't get me wrong.
That's all right.
Just give him a mic. Let's let him hear. Let's have him speak.
Well, I'm going to let him speak because he also has a comic book movie for the choice. So I'm going to get up and let him talk. Oh, okay. Give him a.
He's got a mic.
I just don't think that it was graphic novel to comic book because they changed a lot of stuff.
Well, I know because Eric Draven was a construction worker, and they made him a rock star in the movie.
So I just didn't think it was the greatest graphic novel to comic book form.
No, okay.
Probably the greatest comic book form, graphic novel, comic to movie, and it's dated, but it still works. Superman 1 and 2.
Superman 1 and 2. Nice. Is that your choice for the movie of the week?
That was my choice because that was the movie. That was number one, the first one, besides Batman 66.
Yeah. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Just can't get rid of
like breaking the fourth wall. Sorry.
And, Superman acted just like Superman did in the comics. There was it was perfect. It was the perfect casting and everything.
Well, rest his soul, Mr. Christopher Reeves.
Yes.
Yep.
That was the best interpretation of any comic character still to this day.
Still the best Superman, too.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
There's no one ever going to replace him in that
definitely
role.
not.
Agree.
Absolutely. All right, well, we got a bunch of people here. EJ, you have a comic book movie of the week.
Spider-Man #1.
Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire when he's taking on the Green Goblin?
Yes.
All right. Why do you choose that movie?
Is I like the part when he was there was too many cars, and he was like waiting there with a bunch of people in one pack, and he had to go fight Green Goblin.
Yes, EJ, you have to talk into the mic. You can't hold it to the side of your face. We're not going to hear you.
Yeah, we should.
He was being polite. He was looking at the host.
Yes, he was looking at me, so it's cool.
Kind of true.
There you go.
Uh-huh. We should actually ask Kevin back there. What's his?
I was going to. I was going to ask the people in the store if they had a comic book movie of the week they'd like to bring in.
Your favorite comic book, Kevin?
It's hard. I probably would go with, if it was ever made, get closer. Probably a Nightwing.
Farther away. It's
farther,
picking up with my mic.
I probably if it would ever be made, a Nightwing movie. I think they're talking about it, but I think a Nightwing movie.
Something that's already.
Yeah, this is a segment where we give our listeners a movie that they should go watch.
I'm sorry then.
Yeah, it's no problem.
The Guardians of the Galaxy, that was a good movie. The second one. I liked the first one because it started off, showing them, but the way they built the characters over the timeline, or over the months, I really liked how they all came together and how they really were a family. Just great character build. So I would say, I mean, it's still out, but I would say Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
All right. Anybody else have a comic book movie they'd like to give a shout out for people to check out? One of your favorites.
Philly Carroll.
Yes, Philly Carroll. Do you have a comic book movie you want people to check out this week?
I'm in here, and I'm not only thinking of my son, but I'm thinking of my father, who has passed. And it all started years ago when I was little, and he liked The Creature and, from the Lagoon.
Oh, okay.
Those comic books and all that, Frankenstein and Dracula. I was just looking over here, and I saw some of them.
So the old Universal movie monster.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, again, when you think back, my uncles, they used to collect, what was it called? Jughead and Archie and all that?
Oh, the Archie comics, yes.
Oh, God. Wow.
My uncles had that stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you have Riverdale.
Really? How about that? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my son, Godzilla. When he was little.
We got Kyle.
Oh, jeez. I couldn't change the channel, and I had to watch it over and over again.
Right on. So
my granddaughter's here, and she likes all the superheroes. The Superwoman, and come on, tell me who.
Nah,
she's
shy.
acting shy. Yeah. Okay.
That's okay. That's okay. Who's your? You're not on mic. You can just say it. Who's your favorite superhero? Batgirl.
Nice.
There you go.
I actually have a second movie I would like to suggest.
All right, but real quick before you do though, just to let Philly Carroll's granddaughter know, Joss Whedon is doing a Batgirl movie.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetness.
I'm watching it.
Yeah.
I think you're the same age.
Oh, there you go.
9.
We have a love connection on breaking the fourth wall.
God, it's too early. Too early.
I love it. Even the son's like, oh no, man. I'm enjoying the single life. Yeah. I'm not ready for that.
He's trying to get into a football career right now.
5 minutes. All right, go ahead. What's your second choice?
Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing. Oh boy, here we go.
Was it? Huh? I knew that. See, right now when I was seeing if someone else was going to drop it, but no one else did, so I'm going to drop it as a second choice as well. Swamp Thing.
Also,
there you go.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Judge Dredd.
Nice. There you go. There's an obscure one. You got a second one you want to throw in real quick?
I don't know if we would consider one, but I say the greatest American hero.
TV show, but I'll count with it. Yeah,
I'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll accept
That's
it.
obscure. That's obscure, but it'll work.
I actually have that on DVD, mind you.
That's why I'll allow it.
Again, if you ever see my DVD collection, you would know why I can actually honestly say I probably have that on DVD because I have over like 700 DVDs at home right now.
Well, there you go.
Matter of fact,
all right.
About Christina talk about Chomp Thing, we're gonna go into video games. Going Plants vs Zombies 1. Chomper, there's a new version called where he sprays chomps of dirt.
Now we're going into video games.
Yep.
Real quick, I want to thank everybody who did come in and hang out with us tonight at Comic Collections. I definitely want to thank from Crusin 92.1, Miss Philly Carroll, also hangs out with us on RadioCast FM. Also, DJ Zax was in the house. You know, it was cool that he was here. Make sure you're checking him out on RadioCast FM on In the Mix. Guys, tell them where you can find you if they want to talk to you.
All right, you can find me on Facebook. I'm Matthew Cruz, with Matt with two T's, and you can find me also on Fox C77, Fox with 2 X's, at gmail.com. And also, as promised before, we'll be releasing my show Gaming XP come June 15th.
June 15th, that is the official date.
It'll be on YouTube.
There you go. On Realm of the Mist YouTube, so make sure you're checking that out.
Yeah, remember to subscribe and like us.
Yes, like and comment. We want to know what you guys think.
Definitely. You can find me every Wednesday night on RadioCast FM as on my show Eclectica, Wednesday at 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. You can also find me on Facebook, Christina Talley Warburton, as well as I am starting my own podcast, which I will be announcing very shortly. So keep tuned for that.
All right. Eric.
Okay, you can find me on Facebook at Eric J. Batista Sr., and I'm also on Xbox One at Smoke 1437.
All right, and you can find me on YouTube with Realm of the Mist Entertainment, doing Breaking the Fourth Wall. I'm also on RadioCast FM every Monday for Raise the Underground and every Thursday for Breaking the Fourth Wall, except for the last week. We're not going to go into that.
And at the Comic Collection.
And at the Comic Collection, yes, I was getting to you. I promise, I was getting there.
That's where you're at every Saturday.
Yes, every Saturday I'm at the Comic Collection.
So this is why he's broke.
That's why I'm broke. I want to thank our host tonight, Dave Schwartz, for letting us come out and pretty much take up a little quarter section of his store. But we had a blast, and now I think it's time, everybody, to get up off our chairs, put the stuff away, and let's start spending some money. Guys, thank you very much. We'll catch you next week on Breaking the Fourth Wall on RadioCastFM.com.
Take it easy now.
Have a good one.
Where can I get you? Up.
Later, people. Have a good one.
Well, you guys find me on Facebook, EJ Batista Jr., or Instagram, EJ Batista Jr.
Why is my screen gray?
Well, there you go. All right. On that, thank you very much for hanging out with us this week on Breaking the Fourth Wall on RadioCastFM.com.
Every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. as we break the fourth wall, myself, Christina, and Eric, and Matt. See you then. RadioCastFM.com.
RadioCastFM.